I didn't find out the reason in a dramatic moment. There was no confession, no apology, no sit-down conversation where everything was laid out clearly. The truth came the way it often does in families like mine, slowly, indirectly, through fragments no one thought I'd put together. At first, it was just a feeling. That uncomfortable sense that something was being discussed around me, not with me. The tone had shifted. Conversations felt more careful, more filtered, like everyone suddenly became aware of what they shouldn't say. And when people start choosing their words around you, it's usually because something has already been decided. I replayed the exclusion in my head over and over. Not obsessively, at least not at first. More like my mind was trying to protect me by finding a harmless explanation. Maybe it was space. Maybe it was money. Maybe it was a misunderstanding that would correct itself. But every possibility collapsed under the same weight. If it were simple, someone would have explained it. The fact that no one did meant it was. The first hint came from a conversation that wasn't meant to reveal anything at all. It was casual, almost careless. Someone mentioned how this year's Mother's Day needed to look nice, how it was important that everything felt appropriate, that certain relatives would be there, that appearances mattered. I remember nodding, half listening, until one sentence landed differently than the rest. "Well, you know how Mom feels about that." That. The word hung there, vague but heavy. I asked what they meant. There was a pause. A beat too long. Then a shrug. A laugh that didn't quite land. "You know, your work, it's just, not everyone understands it." Not everyone understands it. I'd heard that phrase my entire adult life. It was never said with concern, always with discomfort. Like my job was something slightly embarrassing, nothing illegal, nothing harmful, but not something you brag about at dinner. It was the kind of work that made people ask follow-up questions they didn't want to answer, the kind that didn't come with an easy label. And suddenly, I understood. This wasn't about logistics. It was about optics. My job didn't fit the version of the family my mom wanted to present. She didn't want to explain it, didn't want to defend it, didn't want to answer questions that made her uncomfortable. So instead, she removed the problem. Me. The realization didn't come with immediate anger. It came with a strange sense of clarity. All the small moments from the past began lining up, finally making sense. The way my mom would redirect conversations when relatives asked what I did. The way she'd describe my work vaguely, as if precision might invite judgment. The way she praised other family members loudly while acknowledging me quietly, if at all. None of it was accidental. I just hadn't wanted to see it. Because accepting that means accepting something much harder. That your presence was conditional. I didn't confront her. Not because I was afraid, but because I already knew how the conversation would go. She wouldn't say she was ashamed. She wouldn't say she excluded me on purpose. She'd say things like, "You're being too sensitive. You're misunderstanding. You know how people talk. I didn't think you'd even want to come." That last one hurt the most, because it shifts responsibility onto you. It reframes rejection as consideration. And that's when I realized something important. This wasn't the first time my job had made her uncomfortable. It was just the first time she'd acted on it in a way that couldn't be explained away. The more I thought about it, the more obvious it became. Mother's Day wasn't chosen randomly. It's a public holiday. Photos get posted. Stories get shared. Relatives compare families. It was about image. And I didn't fit the image she wanted that day. That's a brutal thing to realize, not because of the holiday, but because of what it says about how you're seen. I wasn't excluded because I was unreliable. I wasn't excluded because I caused drama. I was excluded because my existence complicated a narrative. And the most painful part, No one thought I deserved an explanation. They assumed I'd understand. That word again. Understand. It's always the people who are hurt who are expected to be understanding. I noticed how differently people spoke to me after that. Not hostile. Not cruel. Just careful. As if they were worried I might ask questions they didn't want to answer. And in that carefulness, I saw confirmation. Because when people feel justified, they're open about it. When they're not, they hide behind politeness. I thought about all the years I'd tried to make myself easier to accept. The compromises, the silence, the effort to stay non-threatening. And here I was, still being left out. That's when anger finally arrived. Not explosive anger. The quiet kind. The kind that doesn't demand a response, but changes how you see everything. Because anger isn't always about what happened. Sometimes it's about how long it took you to realize it was always happening. I didn't cry. I didn't vent. I sat with the truth longer than was comfortable. Because once you acknowledge that someone is willing to erase you to protect their image, you can't unsee it. And you can't unknow it. That's when I understood something else too. If I confronted her, nothing would change. She might apologize, but not for the reason that mattered. She'd apologize for how I felt, not for what she did. And I wasn't interested in that kind of apology anymore. I didn't want reassurance. I wanted respect. And respect doesn't come from explaining yourself to someone who already decided you're inconvenient. So I stayed quiet. Not because I was defeated, but because I was done justifying my existence. The truth had surfaced. Not loudly. Not cleanly. But clearly enough. And once I saw it, I knew the next move wasn't going to be emotional. It was going to be intentional. Because sometimes, the most powerful response to being excluded is to stop trying to belong.